once. There we go. I was waiting for him to be like, "What the fuck was that?" All right, starting this recording. Craig is recording now. My video's recording now. Let me get Audition to go. And all right, yeah. Well, we're live now. Not live, but you know.
Recording.
You're listening to the This Is Why We Game podcast.
All right. Well, like, what do you want me to like? I thought we were doing an intro, but like, I mean,
no, wait. I mean, well, this is the first fucking.
this is
podcast.
the intro. All right,
Yeah,
all right.
this is
What's
the intro
okay?
for now. This is
Okay.
the-
All right. What's up, guys? Hope you guys have had a great few weeks locked in your house and keep having some great few weeks locked in your house. I don't know how long this is gonna last, and we're all losing our mind, but this is why we're here, making some
This is why we started the podcast.
some good content for you guys. So my name is Goku, for those that don't know me, or Alex. I don't know what you guys want to call me, but that's me, and I'm gonna pass this off to my boy Blade.
Yeah, my name is Blade, or Blade Hawk if you want to call me for my long name, which I do not like, so do not do that. That would not be cool. Go on Facebook.
Hello. A lot of people know me as FBK or Luis sometimes, or even Husky. Hello.
Facebook.
I've never heard anybody call you Husky before. Hold on.
All right. My name. You can either call me Shaz or Poppy. Girls only call me Poppy though. Everyone else call me Shaz. Or Shazam, but most typically Shaz. So,
Alrighty.
all right. So, where to start off? Well, I guess we could just start off with what kind of got us all into gaming.
To gaming.
Yeah, like what got you guys to want to like start just playing video games? Like, did you just start like a very young age?
I started, actually. I think I'm the only person here who like probably didn't play past 11 years old. Like, I took a big break of playing video games because I didn't like FPS games. I started when I was like maybe 6 or something. You know, like every kid, you know, playing just Mario and all these things, and then at 11, actually, I stopped 11, 12 years old with Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Vegas 2. And then Black Ops 1. That was the last 2 games I ever played before taking a break from 11 till I was 19 years old. And then I literally went into, like, it was just this random day. I went into a GameStop. I was gonna say EB Games. I don't know why. And I went into a GameStop and I bought a Xbox One and the Rainbow Six game. I bought the Xbox just for the Rainbow Six game that had come out, which is Siege, right? And I maxed out a credit card in one shot, like $300. And then I played that and I got hooked into it. I guess that's how. And now we're here, you know, like we're talking.
So like when you were playing Rainbow Six Vegas though, and the and Black Ops 1, was that PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360?
That was actually PlayStation 3. Surprisingly, it's funny that you ask, because no. Xbox, that was my first experience, was when I was 19. Yeah.
That's okay, gotcha. Damn, that's such a like a long time. I don't think I would have ever like survived that. I don't think I could have done that, honestly. I don't know. I just got too caught up in games. What about you, Blade?
I think my earliest experience of gaming was all the way back when I was like 8 or so years old, and I was watching my cousins, and they were playing RuneScape at the time, and I was just like, "Wow, what is this thing?" Because before that, all I did at home was like play around with marbles. I never had a computer. I didn't have like an Xbox or PlayStation. Like, I was just screwing around with whatever the stuff I had at home.
Yeah.
And at one point, like, my dad, he bought an Xbox, like the OG one, right? The one where you got like red rings of death.
Yeah.
I got to play Halo 2 on that, and that was one of the most amazing experiences ever, because I just kept playing it over and over and over again. I didn't stop. Following that, like, I got my first laptop, and a lot of people like have their big ass PCs right now. Like when they're like 13 and 14, I had a shitty laptop that could barely run anything, and all I did play was Flash games because that's the only thing that could run.
Not even
So that
Minecraft.
no, Minecraft wasn't out
Damn.
then. Oh shit!
Oh,
hold on.
that's true. That's true.
Minecraft
Yeah.
was not
Well,
out.
it could have
then
been because you're like freaking young. It could have been out depending on what you.
nah,
thought.
nah. Minecraft was not out then. So then
Okay.
I was stuck playing Flash games while people were playing like Call of Duty and stuff at that point.
Was that your food alarm?
No, it was my big
Oh.
potato alarm actually.
Go get
In
it
the oven.
before it burns down your place.
Once I started getting like a more powerful PC, I was able to branch off into bigger and better games. Like, actually, hold on, it was a lot of different type of games because I played a ton of different games at that point. I
Okay.
probably can't even count off the ones I did play, but notable ones were like StarCraft. Siege did not come until 2015, which is like a long time. So it would probably been like 8 years before I ended up looking into Siege.
Okay.
But it's been a long history.
So you had no previous experience with the Tom Clancy series then.
No, I've never seen Tom Clancy series before Siege.
That's interesting, dude.
Do you have any desire to? Because didn't the new Halo bundle just come out on Steam for PC where you can play like Halo 1, 2, and Reach and all that
Yeah, I
stuff?
remember that. I saw that coming. I
So
just haven't bought it yet. I
Yeah,
haven't
that's
bought it.
true. Oh, plus, I mean, you're kind of busy with other games, anyways.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Luis?
Well, you see, I have actually been playing for like as long as I can remember. I think like my earliest memory is like at 2, because my dad had his PlayStation, and then my aunt had a Sega Genesis that she passed down to us.
Okay.
So then we were always buy like cartridges at the swap meet and everything. I think I still have those cartridges somewhere lying around, but I would always play stuff like Sonic, NBA Jam. What else was there? There's a couple others, like the Lion King Sega Genesis game that was stupidly hard, by the way. But never really played any FPSs until I think it was like Call of Duty 2, the Big Red One, was like my first experience with like FPSs in general.
Mm-hmm.
And even up until then, I never played a single Tom Clancy game, not Splinter Cell, not Vegas or Rainbow 3 or anything of the sort. Like my only experience was Call of Duty 2, the Big Red One, then Call of Duty 3 on PS2. Like it just goes way back then, and then I think it was when I got it.
I love that one, the Big Red One. That was the
Yeah,
one Call of Duty I did play.
Dude, I loved the Big Red One. I would play that one over and over. Same with 3. And then when I got my PS3, it was when Modern Warfare 2 had come out, and we got the PS3 with that. That was a whole experience. And then I finally got to play zombies for the first time, like when World at War was still pretty popular.
Mm-hmm.
That was a whole lot of fun too. And then I remember being just hooked on that for like the longest time. I even went to a couple midnight releases of the following CODs afterwards with a couple of friends. That was fun.
Damn. What got you into like playing like because I know like you out of all of us, I know for sure you're like very like big on like I want to say horror games, but like 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 Dead by Daylight or like the Resident Evil games. Like I know you're very big on those.
So that's a funny story. There was this one moment where it all started, where we went to a GameStop one day, and I was just browsing through, and my mom just had like a spur of the moment, was like, yeah, you can just get one, $10 in a game, and Resident Evil 4 was still like being sold brand new in GameStop at the time, and that was $10, and I was like, oh, it's like, well, it's like this. I was like, it was before Resident Evil 5 was even announced or it was being like worked on.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh, this looks fun. I was like, it's been in magazines for some time now. It's been re-released a couple of times already. I was like, this looks like fun. So I bought that brand new for $10, and that was like my first experience with Resident Evil 4. I played it, ran into the first chainsaw dude in the first village, scared the crap out of me, and didn't play it for another week.
I mean, like that. I think like that's kind of like in that time. I think like was when you would go to your friend's house and play that game together. Even though like sometimes it would be like a single player horror game, like you would just like everyone would just get together and watch in a room, like it's all dark and like you're watching your friend play and you take turns and it's just like I feel like that's where I started to like horror games, but now I don't play them because now it's like you can hang out with someone in a Discord or something to play that or stream it, and so I don't like playing that because I'm alone. So like I don't like it.
I love them. I love horror games so much. Like from there, that's like when I started playing them like a ton or finding stuff that's like, yeah, I was like, this is pretty good. I was like, this is pretty scary. And then Dead Space, when Dead Space 1 was still like kind of new and pretty new. I remember hearing about it, and then when I finally got my hands on a copy, I was just like, holy crap, this is so scary. It's like, how do people even play this game?
Oh man.
Oh my god, that was a whole nother experience too, because I was so paranoid of everything at that point.
Okay. When did you get into PC gaming as well?
It wasn't until like heavily was until like 2014, and that was because I ended up getting a laptop, and I played a lot of League of Legends with a bunch of other friends. I had basically like 50 plus people to play, so I was always playing that with them. And there was also a club at the school, and so we always did a bunch of events together, like LAN parties and well, a lot of watch parties too. Whenever the pro games, the LCS games were on, we would watch in one of the classrooms and put it on the projector, sit down and watch during lunch, or sometimes if a majority of us were in the class for a period, he would pop it up and put it up on the screen too. It's pretty cool. And then one of our teachers, she is currently married to a Riot employee, so he would always give her stuff to give us as a club. So we always get like really cool like Riot merch. Like the last thing I got was like, it was like papyrus scroll rolls because of Yasuo, and his like whole thing is like a samurai kind of motif. So it was a really cool scroll. Yeah, and then from there it started with Gary's mod too, and you can guess I just played a ton of horror maps.
But well, just so we get like a figure of like how old are each of you though, just so that way we know like a frame of.
I am almost 23.
Almost
Almost
23.
the 28th of May. I will be 23.
I am 20. I am technically a 90s kid, dude. I was born in 99. Here we go.
This man.
Boo, 99, am I right?
99's 90s kid, bro.
This guy. What about you, Facebook?
You gotta think about that one.
He's like,
how old am I? Let me just
23 going on 24. let me pull out my
he was like, I have to be careful answering this question.
Careful about this one.
Oh wait, so like I didn't know I was older than you, Goku, because I'm like, because Luis and I were born. I think Luis and I are like 2 months apart. So
Yeah,
I'm
we're
turning
2 months
24
apart.
this year too, and like I didn't know I was like almost a year older than you, Goku.
Yeah, man. I'm
fairly
young. Just live life fast, you know.
Wow.
I think a bunch of us. I think we're older than the whole bunch here, Caesar.
No, I know, right? I feel like terrible now.
You guys are like boomers to me.
Oh my god.
Okay, Zoomer.
Yeah, get out of here. Who invited this guy? Who invited him? Actually, yeah, you were kind of like a last minute, fill in because War Slayer was supposed to be here, but you couldn't make it tonight. So you
Because
Understandable.
War Slayer is a true boomer, dude. That's why you got
Oh,
kids to take it.
That's true.
Family, nah, man. That's wilding right now. He's probably in bed.
Yeah, he's like, it's 8 o'clock. Gotta go to bed. It's too late for me right now.
I got a quick question though for everybody. Like, how did you guys get access to video games? Because for me, the hardest part was like actually even having any money to buy those games because they're usually like online. And to buy those games, you need to have like a credit card, like a debit card to do them.
Like, but in what are we talking? Are we talking like right now, or are we talking about like
in the past, like when you were a kid? Did you like, were your parents like liberal and allowed you to buy games, or were they strict on that? What happened?
Or like, did you have to work for them? Okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like for me, it was like my dad's the one that, because a lot of the games were rated teen or like 18 plus. So like when you go to a GameStop, or at the time it was EB Games, your dad had, like, someone had to be there with you, you know what I'm saying, to buy those games. So my dad would be the one to buy it. And I remember, this is funny because I remember this one time I went to Walmart, and I was getting, I don't remember which game. I think it might have been Black Ops 1, to be honest. I don't remember which game it was, but it was one of those games. Or Prince of Persia. It could have been, it's too old. And my dad had no clue what the game was. I mean, he had a clue that it was like an 18 plus game. That's why he was coming, with me. So he bought the game, and then the guy that's working the cashier, he goes, excuse me, give me a second. And then like the guy like he wanted, like it looked like he was gonna, give me the game, but then he's like, maybe I should ask someone else if this is okay. And so he goes and tells the lady to take over. So this is old lady taking over, right? So like GG, right? Like, so the old lady takes over and he goes like, do you know what this game is? And then like that's how she approaches my dad. Like, do you know what this game is? And I was like, and my dad is like, he's like, it's a video game. Like that's what he said. And he's like, yeah, but this is like 18, like 17 plus or whatever it was, right? And then he was like, yes, that's why I'm here to buy it for him. And then it was like, it was so judgy, but like that's I guess how I got my games. Like my dad never really, like my mom, like it was only an issue when I had my brother. Like me and my dad could not be like, or we couldn't be watching or playing something that was like very gory or something like, or like crazy like that when my brother was young. But after that, it didn't matter. Like outside of that.
Dang.
Wow.
I don't know. For me, it's kind of like so for me, like I don't know. I've been playing games as long as I can remember. I have like really bad memory loss, so like I just know I was very young when I started playing games. My brother and I, and like it was one of those things where for sure, because my brother's older than me, so and it's just him and I. So it was definitely one of those things where like he would play the game and give me the controller and trick me into thinking that I was actually plugged in when it wasn't. So I thought I was playing with him, but like I wasn't truly. That's for sure what my brother and I would do. But like the most part, I remember like I wasn't very good at like mini games like when I was really young. And so like I remember I loved it more just sitting down and watching him play like whether it was like
Mm.
on like Nintendo 64 or something like that. Like I
Mhm.
loved just watching him play the games, and I would just like watch it, be like, "Oh, that's awesome!" Like I fucking love that game. And like as far as like games came along, like my brother and I, like, as long as we got good grades, my parents would buy us the games. They weren't like super strict. Like if it was like rated, like rated R games or movies, or like if it's like 18 plus only kind of game, they weren't like really strict on it. I mean, if they're like tits, then yeah, they would be like, "All right, nope." But
Like slow your roll.
other than that, like they didn't really like not like care, I guess, but they just didn't really like feel like it was gonna like mess us up in the head or anything. So like they were just kind of fine with us just playing Call of Duty or like even just Grand Theft Auto, because like in Grand Theft Auto they didn't really ever watch us play it. They just knew that we were just playing Grand Theft Auto, and secretly deep down most of the time, like whenever I would play like San Andreas with my friend Steven growing up, we spent most of the time just trying to find Bigfoot in the game, because when we were young, we thought that was actually a thing in the game where there was like Bigfoot or like Yetis to find. So we would just do that nonstop. But like for the most part though, like yeah, we just as long as we got good grades, then they would like sometimes buy us a game here or there. Like I remember when my brother and I we were both doing well in school, and my dad's like, "Here, I got you guys a surprise." And it was the very first ever Lego Star Wars game on PS2. And my brother and I just lost our shit. We were so excited for that game. And like we played the shit out of it the first night. We even built like a Lego city, like a Lego Star Wars city. Like after we played the first game, we're like, hell
Oh
yeah,
my
let's
god.
build one now. And
Dude, I
that
remember
got
buying that
shit.
on release too.
It was so fucking awesome. I love that game.
Anyway, yeah, I just wanted to ask a question because for me, when I was growing up, like nobody played video games at all. It was
Oof.
really kind of strange because I was like the only person that played video games except for my brother. My brother
It
was the one
was
that
it was a shame for you, like for you to play, or like or it was a shame that
it's a
no one
shame
else
that I
played.
couldn't find anybody else that actually played video games. Like you guys
Okay.
think stories of I've hanged out with my friend's house and played Xbox all night long. I didn't know anybody even had an Xbox.
Yeah, like
Well,
What is
that's
Like,
I did that all the time. Like that was a normal thing for me and
yeah.
my cousins. Like
So
my
that idea is kind of foreign to me. And then the only person that had a video game connection to me was my brother, but he got kind of distant at some point, and like both my siblings are like 9 and 10 years older than me, so I was growing up pretty much alone because by the time like I was actually at the age to play video games, they were already out of the house, right?
Mhm.
So for me, my only access to play video games was to actually like play the free games. Like I remember the first games I played was those Korean first-person shooter games, like Crossfire, Warrock, and Combat Arms. Those ones, they
Oh
were
no,
awful. Holy crap! They were my
Combat
first
Arms,
FPS
dude.
games, man.
Combat Arms, dude.
I don't know if any of you. Guys
That
like,
reminds
played
me.
that
I don't know
or not.
why, but that reminds me like the graphics. They remind me of CS:GO.
They were so bad, but I
Yeah,
got
it's
deleted
great.
on those games because I was still running a laptop.
It's okay. Like my first run into like any competitive type of game was this Flash game called Pawn Tactics. It was a
Oh, I remember
top-down.
that. I remember
Yeah,
that.
that's what I played all the time, and I was all right at it, and like I got pretty decent at it. But that was like the only access I had to like an online thing, and I'd always end up playing it. And you had like clans, which were like teams, and you would have like clan battles, like 5v5, 6v6s on maps and everything. It was insane.
I just remember that there was one day where I got a really good grade on a test, and my mom was like, "Hey, you did really good." So, and I asked her if I could buy a game. She said yes, surprisingly, and she gave me her credit card. And I bought like $40 worth of games, but I didn't tell her that.
Man.
So then,
Savage.
when like at nighttime, she called me over and was like, "Hey, do you know anything about these fucking transactions?" And I was just like, no, I have no idea, bro."
Oh no!
And then what happened? Did it cancel? Like what happened?
And they just like, all right, and then I fucking walked back to my room, fucking scared to shit.
Oh no, this is quality right here.
Do you guys have like a favorite like arcade game? Like if have any you like
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like
Tetris.
Time Crisis and Metal Slug are my top two.
oh, Metal Slug is a very good.
Tetris, bro. Tetris.
Tetris
all
You
is
the
played that
way.
at the
yeah.
arcade?
Well,
Arcade?
dude,
Yeah,
yeah.
there's
I mean,
arcade versions. It's
I
hard to
played
find
it.
them, but there are like decent ones out there. I think
Yeah,
my
Tetris.
favorite one is Track and Field. I'm not sure if you guys have played that one. I was like, ooh. Okay, so let's move on to the next piece
Mhm.
since we kind of got a feel for things when we started gaming. What are
Mhm.
your guys' favorite single player solo kind of games? It could be
Holy.
like it could be
Oh
like if you like
no.
you want to play like certain like games that have online features, but you just play it for the single player, or if like you have like a favorite game with like a really awesome and like or like in your
Oh
opinion
no.
like a really great story mode.
Oh no.
Fuck. My
Anyone
favorite.
It's
can
Weeb
start.
Central in my library.
Man, I'm just like my favorite single player game of all time so far is Fog. No, actually I don't know, man, because okay, I
It's
have
hard,
two. I have two. Wait, no, but it's different though because okay. So Heavy Rain is
Okay.
definitely
Ooh.
it's between Heavy Rain and the Uncharted series.
Okay. Good
Ooh.
choice.
Those two. The reason I like those two so much is because it's like watching a movie. It's just it keeps you stuck on it and you just want to keep playing it. And but I think like the thing that Heavy Rain has on Uncharted is the way that it had 20 different endings and it was
Mhm.
really cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I played it with the
Yeah.
PS3 handheld you could play it, you know, with the, what's it called? It was like the PS3i or something like that. Like I don't remember what it's called. But it was like the Wii controller. Like it was the second thing that came after the Wii
Like the
controllers.
PS Vita or PSP or something like
The
that?
PS
No,
Move.
PS
PS Move.
Move. It was like PS Move or something. It was like the controller was like a ball and it glowed.
Yeah, it's the PS Move.
Yeah, and that's what I play with. So it was cool because like you moved and you shot like that and whatever. I don't know. It was cool. That's for me though. Heavy Rain and the Uncharted series are my two top
Good
like single
choice.
player ones.
Wait, how do you feel about them doing a Uncharted film now?
I am actually excited, bro. I am so
Because isn't it
excited,
like
dude.
Tom Holland doing it, the kid that plays Spider Man?
I didn't know it was Tom Holland. I actually didn't know. I just remember seeing somewhere that it was like a banner for it, like a poster for it. That's all I saw. So I was like, oh,
Yeah.
this could be good.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be pretty exciting to see.
Yeah. Oh, that's me.
You or Blade, Louis, any
Single player
you here?
games. I don't really play a lot of story single player games. Like I played The Witcher 3 and that was pretty cool, but other than that, not really. I do play other type of single player games like Grand Strategy is a big one.
Mhm.
I have like a couple 400, 500 hours in like EU4, CK2, Boy 4, that kind of games, as well in the Total War series. Like, I guess I'm just a big fan of playing RTS style games after growing up playing StarCraft, original StarCraft, by the way.
I hate StarCraft 2 now. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
dude, don't get me started on StarCraft 2. I didn't like StarCraft 2 as much as StarCraft 1. Like,
Or isn't there like another one that you're playing right now? What's it called, Bannerlord?
but yeah, Bannerlord. Oh my god, Bannerlord was anticipated for 8 years, dude. Everybody that played Warband was waiting for this damn game to come out for 8 years, and now it's finally out, and I've been grinding the hell out of it.
You know, have any of you guys played what's called Age of Empires?
Yeah,
On those,
Yeah.
bro, I played. I don't know if it's the same game that I'm thinking of, but if it's that old, I think I played that game on those old freaking big computers, like you know what I'm talking about, right? Like the
Yeah.
old computer, bro. Like the
It was
cube
like
ones.
it was like a Windows XP kind
Yeah,
of
Windows,
game.
like yeah,
It was just
it was fucking dude. Like, oh my god, bro.
Yeah,
The worst
but I
fucking setup ever, bro. Like, you saw that shit, like you fucking
Yeah.
die.
Okay. Like I said, my whole single player library is like Weeb Central nowadays. It consists of the Persona games, and I've dumped at least 200 hours into each and every single one. Like
Mhm.
3, I've dumped at least 200 hours on one playthrough. 4, same. 5 is same as well. And there's Final Fantasy.
Oh, that's a good one.
Like 7, 8, 10, and right now 15. I've been liking 15 a lot.
Yeah, I remember when I first met you, you were playing the hell out of the Final Fantasy from
Oh,
it was like 2018. That
yeah,
one.
that was 15. That one,
Yeah.
they released on Windows with everything, and I was like, oh hell yeah! So I played it on the PS4 when that came out.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Uncharted's
what?
another one of my favorites too.
Like I feel like there's a game that I consider single player that you played. I mean, I consider single player even though it's a multiplayer because it's just it's the experience. It's like it's a single player experience you're truly having. I don't
Mhm.
know, and it's fucking RP when you did role play. I feel like that's like I don't know. I feel like it's multiplayer, yeah, but like it's I don't know. I feel like it's very singled out. Like a lot of the time you're alone, you know, like you're doing your own thing, and I feel
Talking
like
about
that's what makes
for
it.
like GTA and all that.
Yeah, for GTA because it's not like you're not constantly interacting with people or like doing something like you're a lot of the time you're doing your own thing in the game. You know, it's like you could pick to do your own
Yeah,
thing.
Yeah,
Like
it's true.
it
so,
it kind of
it's
depends on like what game it is too. Like if it's GTA, I'm usually always interacting with someone because like what else am I gonna do? Like go work the job or something. And usually that ends up happening with like random interactions. In Conan though, it
Mhm.
depends. Or like if it's the early game where the server's wiped, I have to go and like scavenge everything to build. I have to get my weapons. And then this season when I played recently, actually, that one was interesting. Only 2 of us were able to get in from the group, so we had to gather for 8 people. Well, and then here's the crazier thing too. Once we got enough materials, he started building. I had to keep gathering, so I was gathering for 8 people alone and constantly just like running back and forth in the other game, just doing everything. So everyone was just running around and being like, "Yeah, no time to talk. Bye." Like gathering their own materials and everything, doing their own thing. It's insane.
I gotta say though, I'm not a big fan of RP games. I just
Like
feel like it's
RPG.
no
I
RP
think
specifically.
Or just
I
role play
think
in general.
the whole reason why is because we lost Facebook to that, dude.
Nah. It's like I just can't fit into it. It just doesn't feel right. It feels
It's
like
not for
trying to be
everyone.
somebody else is so hard for me.
It is something. I
It
think it
takes a
takes
lot
a talent.
to do.
I think it takes a talent, like it takes a talent to do competitive in games. Like it's the same thing. You just need
It's
it's not
literally
for
being an actor
yeah,
all the time, and that's not easy to do at all.
Oh
So,
no,
Latest
a lot of
just
people
wants to be
break.
himself.
yeah, dude.
A lot of people break like in character too sometimes, like when something, so let's say like someone who's like very outgoing tries to play a very quiet and shy character, they have to try extra hard to not be outgoing and just be like super shy, and sometimes it can come out sometimes where they're like still outgoing.
So favorite multiplayer game. Favorite multiplayer game? it's funny because no, the reason I was like so quiet is because as we were talking about you know how we were talking about like the single players and all that, and we talked about Age of
Mhm.
Empire. I was just watching like Macy J just post about uh a picture of him and of his old games, and it was Star Wars, Age of Empires, Metal Gear, and then Rainbow
That's
Covert Ops.
hilarious.
So Rainbow Six Covered Ops. So okay, but no, okay, multiplayer games. My like from all times like multiplayer game.
Mhm.
Um, it's gonna be Siege. That's
Siege. Yeah,
yeah,
I
it's gonna be
figured as much
Siege.
because
It's
like you
gonna.
guys have been playing for a
I
while.
think like I think I've put so much into Siege in my life. It's like such a huge portion of my life that like in the last 4 or 5 years that it's like, dude, like there was a point I think it was like 20 hours a day. Like I'm telling you, I just slept like 4 hours, like 20 hours a day. I was living Rainbow, dude. Like that's all it was. And like obviously now it's not. I'm living in a different way, but I'm still about it. Even though it has its its ups and downs. I just think it's like you will never get bored of that game, but you can get bored of any other game. There's
Mhm.
other multiplayer games I like to play, but you get bored of them. And Siege, you can't. There's always learning to happen there.
Yeah, that's true. Um, trying to think. Yeah, cause like even though I'm not like a big fan of like just playing Siege nowadays, like I still like find myself somehow going back to it from time to time. Like even whenever I say I'm gonna stop, somehow like Luis would tell me like when Luis told me about all for one all stuff, I'm like, well, son of a bitch, count me in, and I just fucking got back into it, and yeah. So anytime I'm like ready to back out, Luis is just like, well, there's this coming up, and I'm like, count me in then. All right, here we go again. What about you, Blade?
I played a lot of grindy games. Like right now, I'm playing RuneScape. While we're talking,
I was playing that late last year, but like I completely forgot about it. I just let my characters die out again.
yeah. So I guess I'm really like into grinding games where you just work for progress over and over again. But that's not really kind of fun. It's just like addictive, I guess. Um, in terms of actual fun games, I'd say competitive games where you could actually compete against one another. Um, Before Rainbow, I used to play Mountain Blade Warband a ton, and I was in like a regiment kind of thing.
Mhm.
And we'd participate in tournaments, like we'd go into line battles, we'd have formations,
There goes
all
the
sorts of
Blade
that.
Hog name then. That's why.
Yeah, well, Blade Hawk
Interesting.
was before that, but it was, I
Okay.
used Blade Hawk there. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, that got me really into like loving organized gameplay where you have groups of people just going at each other, and that was like one of the more interesting parts rather than just having like a public lobby and people just going like rampage like in Battlefield or Call of Duty. Like I wasn't too into that.
Mhm.
um but the organized stuff was huge, so like that's the reason why I'm playing Arma right now in a group. That's why my Fridays were for me.
Mm.
Are
Can't
you
Friday,
take this
playing
away
something
from
by the
me.
way right now?
Fridays
I
for
can
the
hear like
Blade.
some clicking.
Arma Fridays.
Yeah.
Arma Fridays, dude.
Arma is always on Fridays, and I am pissed off that I had to miss those games.
Yeah, the last couple of weeks I heard from him, they weren't too good, those games, those Friday games.
Negative, dude. Are you
So
kidding
I don't
me?
know about that one, dude.
The latest one was insane.
All right, Facebook, tell us about yours, dude.
Man, you see, like when it comes to like multiplayer games, um, I'm really weird about it because if I find it fun, I'll play it, and that's what happened with me in League of Legends. Like I played League of Legends because I had fun with all the groups of friends that I had, and even through that, I actually got to know one of my now exes actually through League of Legends because she and I would play together and we played in the same lane, so we got to talking like that. That's how I got to know somebody, and I enjoyed League of Legends for that.
Mhm.
And then there was
That's a good one.
what was it? Then there was games like Payday. When Payday was first coming out, I played the crap out of the demo on the PS3, and I played it all the time. And I like games like that.
Oh,
And then when it came to competitive games, like I don't think I was very big into it. The most I played was CS Source and Team Fortress, and that was about it. I know we played them because I was just like, yeah, I was just like, I like them, they're fun. And then my buddy who played CS Source, like a little more competitive, like ranked and everything more than I did. He's like, you know, with a little more practice, you could actually have like very like above average aim at least if you actually put in practice.
I have a question. Like now that you're talking about that competitive, like you're worrying about competitive.
Yeah.
Like when did you guys like? I mean, this could apply to Chaz in a different way, but like but I know for you guys, like when did you guys like realize like, oh shit, like I can actually like make a living, or like I could actually make this my job, like, you know, like try to seek for that, you know, like when did you guys realize that in your time playing video games, and you were like, yo, maybe like if I put my head into this, like it could happen.
That I guess for me, it would have to be more recently. Like when it comes to I at first I played it casually because I just really enjoyed the game and I was like, yeah, I want to get better at this game. And I did, and I made it into like plat, and I started playing against other like high elo players. And when I realized, I was like, hey, I'm playing against pro players that I watch on Twitch recently when the pro league just started, and realized I was like, yeah, I can actually go toe to toe them at least in ranked, gun skill wise. And I was like, maybe I can do something. And then like it, even like when I was like, even when we played the invitational qualifiers like back in 2018, and we actually like beat Toon Squad, I was like, yeah, I was like. Yeah, and I'm just like, I was like, I don't know, man. I was like, I think I still have a lot to go. But then I realized that we like placed like 10th or 13th, somewhere around there. By the end of those qualifiers, I was like, oh, that's actually pretty high. And then we like caused a lot of buzz around the name when we beat Toon Squad that day, and everyone saw the scoreboard, and everyone was like, wait, what? Like,
That's like that was like kind of like you're like, yo, like I think if I keep going after it, and like you took a break too, right? Like you took like that's what's crazy, because you took a break and then you came back, and now this big thing, this big good thing for you, you know, that's happening, you know. And so
yeah.
like did you think you were gonna be back, or like do you think it just like it kind of just happened?
I
Or did
think
you
it just kind
knew
of
that
just
you were gonna
happened.
be back? Did you knew you were gonna be back, or like
Honestly, no, because when I was doing my RP stuff, all the community there is very consistent in terms of streaming. But I don't like that style of streaming, if I can call it a style, because people come and watch to see what you're doing, not to interact. And it's so different to like what I like doing. I like interacting with people. So I'm just like, I was like getting kind of bored of that. And then when I came back to Rainbow, I wanted to play ranked and stacks like I used to, and I did. And
now you got
then
good things going on, dude.
yeah, a lot of good things. And literally just because what was it? If it was like Blade or Arc, someone asked me, it's like, hey, can you sub in for ESA qualifiers this day for Kui? And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. I was like, why not? You know, because I got back into practice with ranked. And then when we actually qualified, I was just like, oh, well, that was
I
interesting. I
still
was like, you
got
know
it.
what,
You're
this
like, yeah, I still got it. I still got it. Let's get it.
yeah. And then
That's
Kukui,
cool.
yeah, and then Kukui was just like, hey, you want my spot, basically, in short. And he's like, I was like, I don't know, but I mean, if it's just for ESA, sure. And then a whole bunch of other stuff transpired that I don't even know when this is gonna go up, but it should be going up in the upcoming days.
Yeah, I think in May. Sometime in May,
Yeah,
hopefully. But
yeah.
but yeah, man. I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy. How about you, Blake? Like, when do you think like it clicked to you? I feel like I have an idea of when, but like, what do you think? Like,
I
what
want
was
to
it?
say it still hasn't yet.
It still hasn't.
No.
You still don't think like you've hit a moment where
like right now, to become like a professional and play at that level, like I feel like you need to have an extra step up, like the amount of effort you put in. And for me, that seems like a lot of work for potentially nothing reward. You know, like it could just backfire on you and you wouldn't go anywhere.
But yet,
And
like the concept though of you, I feel like even though like you're saying like it's there's still you might still consider yourself far from that, but like didn't that never click in your head like you're like, maybe I'm good enough to like be something in this game, like you know, like maybe like you never believed that you could that you could do something great or whatever. And this is, and then I'm, for everyone listening here, I'm asking this to the one of the Rainbow Six players right now, like our current Rainbow Six player. So like, it's funny that he's answering like that, which is okay. I know play for a while, but it's just funny.
It is tough because a lot of it is like second guessing yourself and wondering whether or not you are good enough. It's like,
yeah,
you might have a really good day one day, but then the next day you might have a really bad day, and you're just like, damn, do I want to keep going at this? Do I want to like keep trying?
You're like, this is the end.
It's tough to keep going when you're like not feeling yourself all the way every day.
I think it's something that all of us, the four of us, has been through. Because I know, like, like Chaz. I've talked with Chaz before, even the whole before him getting involved with All-For-One. I remember playing with him and talking with him. Maybe like this was NWA days, so it was about a year and a half ago, and that was the last time I ever heard from Chaz. And I remember that because he was planning to help us out, I guess, with graphics then or whatever. And then he left. He had to go, do his thing, and then he came back, and so it's like, I feel like we all go through like that thing of like we're going through hard things. Like, am I good enough? Is like, or the main question is like, should I still be going for it? Like I feel like that's, especially in esports or anything that's out of the regular norm. You ask that question to yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're not gonna ask yourself like, should I still be going for being someone that works, let's say, in a fast food restaurant? You know what I'm saying? Now, there's nothing against that, but it's a little bit more realistic than someone that wants to be a professional gamer or like famous or something like that. So it's like, when it gets to those points, and that's where your questions get to, is like, is it worth it? I feel like I've been through so many. I think Blade has half of the years, at least in competitive. Now, I'm not talking in Siege, but like at least in competitive, I think he has half of the years I've been in it. And so like, imagine that, like I've doubled that, and even I've had, I don't even know, man. I used to have like, I think every 3 months I used to have just like this breakdown and think like, man, can I even like do anything with this? Like, can I do anything with this game? Even though I knew I was giving my all, like I was still like asking like, and it was just a fight with myself. And now it's like, it's paying off now, which is awesome. Like, a lot of dreams came true and are about to come true. Like I feel like Facebook is on the same boat. I hope he is, because if not, like, he's
Like-
throwing. But like, it's just like I feel like it's pretty cool. And like, and I hope the same for everyone, and like, and all of you guys. I know like Blade is still in his journey, and like whether it's with the Rainbow or with something else, I think he has the skill and to do something. And I think right now, like, right, remember, like me and Chad thought like, he probably is gonna be good for content creation, and like we're kind of pushing him into that, and hopefully maybe he gets something out of that. Trying to get him out of his comfort zone and really show that skill, because like content is what makes money nowadays, man. It's not even the competitiveness of the games. It's the content. That's what's gonna get it for the long term. So you can be a pro one day, or you can be like a paid player one day, and then the next day, that's it, bro. Because it's like, it's all about how consistent can you be, and you can only be that good for so many years. But content, you can make it all the time, because you have all the time in the world. Well, all the time in the world, I mean, like, you could play like 10 games and then get the best out of those 10 games. But when you're in a competitive game, you play one game and that's it. You ain't got more. You got to give it all your one game. And it's a lot more stressful and a lot more consistency that's needed for that.
It's like a battle between whether or not real life is going to catch up with you.
Yeah.
Right. Because the older you are, the less competitive you can be.
And like, and I think it's mental. I don't know. You tell me, Chaz, if you're thinking like I am, which is like, I feel like we were like this generation growing up, we're put so much pressure into doing regular jobs that we're also right now the generation in the transition of that regular job might not be the play. You can do something else. But because when you so like from the age of 0 to 10, that's what you were taught, like regular jobs. That's what you got to do, right? Like you got to do that. But then from like 15 to 25, the game changed. So then like
Yeah.
it makes you fight against yourself, and you think that you're running out of time to do something. Well, maybe that's just all in our head, and like there's not, like, I mean, for certain things, yes, it's like you have a certain limit if you're gonna be like an athlete, that like a football player or whatever. But for like content creation, for example, or YouTubing or whatever, there's no such thing as an age or anything else like that. Like, I think it's a lot of it being mental, of like you're fighting with what you were taught when you were young, and then the day and age right now of how
Mhm.
things can be. Do you think that, like, is that what's your input on that, Chaz?
Shit, man, it's like so loaded for me right now. Okay,
This guy's like, bro, let me.
Hold
I don't have a
um,
beer to crack right now, dude.
well, I had like a margarita before we started recording, actually, and I was
That's
just
why he
like,
was sweating, man. This man's probably thinking already. Oh,
no, man,
He's
because
probably
like,
already down
so like,
3.
no, it's because like I don't have my fans on in my room, so there's no background noise on my
mhm.
mic, and a certain someone kind of forgot about us, so it's kind of just
Yeah. Baby,
What?
baby,
I
baby.
don't know what you're talking
um,
about,
I
man.
don't know what you're
I saw
talking
from
about.
Tokyo.
You know what I'm talking- But
anyway,
yeah,
so
yeah.
like, I definitely do feel so like I play. You're one of our players, so like I don't want you to feel like discouraged and not like feel like you're not like contributing, or like you're not like it's meaningless of you being a player. Like we 100% like appreciate you being a player of ours and being around and all that stuff. And like it definitely is one of those things where I feel like as long as like we keep our teams going, and as long as you're playing with us, we'll of course always have a spot for you on our roster. As far as like switching as like media being like a big thing though, it definitely is becoming more and more one of those things where players are just turning into like content creators and all that stuff, and like that's something that we are trying to expand into, like what Goku was saying earlier about me being like head of content creation with Facebook and all that stuff. Like our whole thing is trying to expand our YouTube and reach out and doing the podcast also. One of being one of our content things, just so we have growth in that area, because it really is becoming a very big thing. And it's pretty great, honestly. I mean, I enjoy the content creation kind of stuff. I've always have enjoyed it. I'm just glad that I'm able to do it with all for one, honestly. And I'm really glad that I'm able to do it based around you guys as well. Like Luis, I've always wanted to work with him just because, like, I don't know, him and I have always just been like fine all this time ever since I know Luis. And like he remembers like when I was a sub, because like as far as like my player status goes from like when I played Siege as like a player for a team, when we had Christian's Blade, like I
Oh
was a
yeah.
sub. But like even Alfie, one of our good friends, said this the other day. He was like, "You were like the most dedicated sub. Like I was there for all the team practices, dry runs. I always hosted the matches, like the custom games, and I would record them for everyone. Luis always recorded his end of things too. Like I don't know, I felt like I was a really dedicated sub. I didn't care if I just wanted to try to grow if I could, and I don't know. My big thing was like managing and I got us like a sponsorship for a little bit with the energy drink company. Uh, and like I was planning on doing like like a YouTube for our for Christmas Blade at the time, and like I made like the sick intro, but I never ended up using it because no one from the team was like super dedicated. Like me and like Luis was, like some of the others were, but like to an extent, and none of them really grasped
Yeah.
the idea of doing content creation for YouTube. Like they thought it was a waste of time. But like me and Luis didn't. Like Luis kept doing his Twitch stuff. And like I don't know. I'm really glad like we're doing the whole content creation right now. And we're expanding on that idea and doing
But yeah,
YouTube and
and it's crazy because it's like there's a lot of obstacles that a lot of these people, like, for example, like when like when the whole quarantine was in there, and like I could actually see my students and stuff, right?
yeah.
Like I would I would see them like always say like, "Oh, I want to be a YouTuber." Like the most common thing you can hear nowadays is kids being like, "I want to be a YouTuber," right? Or like, "I want to be
Mhm.
something like that, like a Twitch streamer or whatever." And what they don't get is, first of all, Twitch streaming is, I think, way easier than YouTubing. YouTubing is like being a YouTuber, because I used to be a YouTuber. Like I used to put content every single day. I put vlogs, like, and that's the hardest thing you can do, bro. Is vlogging every day. And editing it and then getting it out, getting the content out. Putting content out is not easy, and that's the first step. A lot of people do not get that, because one thing is to wanting to do it, one thing is to do it, and then the second thing is to do it right. Right?
Mhm.
And like, and I feel like, for example, we're finally doing this here. Like, and I mean, I'm glad that we're doing it, because that's the whole point. That was the whole point of All for One, and getting it registered as a business and all these things, because I knew, like, I was like, this is it. This is for the long term. We're gonna make this work. How long it takes, we're gonna make this work, and we gotta put the content out there, and we're getting, the podcast, we're getting other cool things coming up. And like, I feel like we just broke the first step that a lot of, even other organizations that might even be bigger than us, haven't even realized. That there's a lot of big organizations out there that don't put out content, man, but they're big. But why are they big? Because they have the pro teams and all of them, right, like
Mhm.
generating the income. But if they didn't have that, they would fall back, man. If those teams don't do well, then they also don't do well. But if
Mhm.
you're putting out content, then we're looking at a really successful organization. We're looking at a really successful business or persona. And I think that's what a lot of orgs are missing. And I'm glad that we're really putting content like right now out. This is what it's about nowadays. That's how you stay in the game and grow.
Yeah, like, cause like you never know, like, for all we know, like our YouTube could take off, podcast could continue doing well, and like maybe we still have our esports teams, and then like maybe for instance like Blade, like you or like Arc or Bud or something like that. Like maybe when you guys decide to stop with esports, you guys just could become a full-time content creator. You can you can just come up with content and produce videos for us, whether it's like for I forgot the game name. I just blanked on it right now. Like we were just talking about it too. That game you're playing a lot of right now, Blade. Uh,
Bannerlord?
yeah, Bannerlord, like you
Mhm.
know what I mean, stuff like that. Or if like Luis wants to, he could just be our content creator for roleplay stuff since he's really good at that, and he can do his series on his character Zevran or someone else from Conan or GTA or whatever games come out, and there's like an RP extent like expansion on it or something like that. So I'm really glad that we're dipping into this finally, and I mean it took
Yeah.
us like what, like a month and a half to finally find time
I
together to
mean,
gather and
I
do
mean,
this
I don't think
podcast
it. I
alone.
don't think it took that long
I
to
think it was kinda short, honestly.
I think like the getting the ideas is always what
Mhm.
takes long. And I think like
Yeah,
Mhm.
it took us like what, like a week and a half, like one, because you said like we're ready, like we started, you know what I'm saying, like. And we're also not just working on one project at the same time. We're working on different projects, and like
yeah,
it all started all of this started like a month ago, like a little over a month ago. But there's like 4 or 5 different projects we're working on right now,
yeah.
and it's a small group of people right now, and so it's like obviously some things are taking a little bit more time, but I feel like we're going pretty fast for the little amount of time that we've been in the game so far.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yep,
Oh,
yep.
and like to go back to sorry, real quick to go
Oh,
back
go,
to
go.
you were saying earlier, Goku, with how like you saw me around when you guys were like with NWA, and then like you like sort of saw me disappear for like a year and a half or whatever. So like during that time, like I was in talks with the people from Nomads and all that stuff to like uh
Hmm.
possibly be a graphic designer and stuff, but
Uh-huh.
like I don't know, talks kind of like started to fall through.
Hmm.
And like during that time, I was like in the middle of like getting ready to move out of state and all that. And like at the time, I
Hmm.
was like losing interest in general with content creation and all that stuff. And I was like, I need to focus on my move and all that stuff. But like, I don't know. At the time, like I didn't feel like mentally prepared, I guess, for just doing all that stuff. And like I didn't feel like I had like enough like tricks up my sleeves really to like produce really solid content at that time. But like I don't know, like the year and a half or a year I was like gone for and all that stuff, like I feel like I'm like in a much better place of like having a few decent tricks up my sleeves when it comes to design wise or just coming up with content in general. So like I don't know, I feel more prepared now after just like I don't know
Mhm.
watching certain content creators and just seeing how they handle things and
And I think
what
we
they
like.
do and all
I
that.
think right now it's good. I think we all matured compared
Yeah.
to 2 years ago. If we started this 2 years ago, like it would like if we started 2 years ago, it would have just been chaos. I think it wouldn't
Oh
have
yeah.
been this arranged. I think
No.
like things like I've learned a lot of things from being in different organizations. You learn from experience, and I think it's really a huge thing. And right now, where everyone's kind of feel like in the right mindset, in the right location. I think everyone's supposed to where they have to be mentally to be able to make this something good, and
Yeah.
hopefully successful for the future. So yeah. So I don't know how much we have left in the podcast, but I know you had a couple other questions. We can move in. We can move on. But I just
Well,
Yeah.
we're already at like an hour and 5 minutes in the podcast, just so
I
you guys
mean,
know.
we could
And
go
like,
for that 130. 130. It kind of
Yeah.
get some because normally, I mean, 1 hour and a half, like between one hour and 1 hour and a half, we should be good. Because I mean,
yeah,
you never know what you
Mhm.
can
yeah.
get out of
Um,
the whole
Now
thing.
one question that I like was supposed to start us off with, but like I panicked in the very beginning, like quickly, so I completely skipped this shit, and like
Oh no,
I
I
was
know
just
what it
like,
is.
wait,
Was it how we met?
no, well,
No, no,
No.
we
well,
named this.
that was the second one. The first one was
Oh, he missed the
we were
whole
supposed
thing.
to.
Then.
Oh, that was our second
Okay,
one,
okay.
actually. The first, okay, so I fucked up. I skipped two, and I went straight for the third, for the third, for the third point I had in the list. All right,
God.
first one we were supposed to do was, what the fuck are we gonna call this podcast? Like
Oh,
I don't know. It's been hard just to
Oh,
come up with
that's
a
right.
name and like
oh
I
man, I don't know.
I
you
mean,
know, it's
it's just. I mean, offer obviously it's like it has to have offer one in it or something like that.
4-on-1.
one for all.
Nah.
I was
This
kidding.
is
I was
horrible.
kidding.
Offer.
I was kidding.
Out here. I think.
I'm trying to think. Like I don't know what would be like a really good solid name.
I
Honestly.
don't know. I don't know.
'Cause, like I've watched several and
All
like
talks. I don't know. All talks.
all talks
All talks.
because like I mean
All
like the
talks.
idea behind this podcast it's like not only are we going to talk about like gaming, of course that's going to be one of our main focuses because like that's how we all kind of bonded and united over, but like there's other things we'll talk about like like one
All
week
for
all four of us
talks.
could be here, all for talks.
Oh,
All
all for
for
talks.
talks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make sense. It's all
All for
about
talks.
it's all about like you got to think about it because it's not good names normally don't sound good at the beginning. It takes about the persona that you put in. So it's like
Ooh,
you got to imagine
okay,
it's
so
like
like
welcome guys, this is, like another episode of All for Talks or something like that. I mean, like just get the idea. I mean, I'm not saying All for Talks is the one we're sticking with, but I'm just saying like it's all about the idea. It's the same as like other podcasts probably had weird names. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
like
yeah.
and it keeps the same it just something that keeps the same kind of singing to the all for one
Mhm.
thing.
Yeah.
I like the
So
all for talks, honestly.
all for or all for
This is
convos. I don't know.
hold
I
on
don't
one
even know.
second. Let me see if this name is like taken already, but I have a good one in mind. Give me 1 second. Uh 1 second. Let me see here. I'm trying to see if like this like name is taken. If it's not, dude, I'm a big fan. All right, it doesn't seem like it's taken. I was always thinking. I always like the idea of the name of for us for the podcast. I kind of like was like doodling around this name was and this is why we game, just because like I don't know. There's different like it's kind of hard to explain right now. I guess is I don't know. I just feel like and this is why we game is kind of a good name because like there's this like one where it's like
Oh,
about
okay.
drinking and like these girls talk
Oh,
about
and this
like
is why we game. Yeah.
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Because like this is like a everything kind of podcast. Like we just talked about like games that got us to it, and like it's why we game. It's because
So it
we
could be like welcome to another
I like that title.
episode
Yeah, no, I
of
like
This
that
Is Why We
title.
this is
Game.
why we game.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
really enjoy that name.
I like
Yeah,
that.
I like it. I like it. I don't know, Blaine. How
And
you
this
feel
is
about
why
that?
we
I
game.
don't mind.
I like. He said, "I don't mind
Uh,
this, man."
I
I
don't
don't
mind it.
mind.
Blade's
Give me a dumb
Blade's
name.
ready to
No,
die right now. Did you get your food?
Yeah, I got my food.
Oh, this
Okay,
guy,
well,
lucky
Okay.
man. I'm out here trying to
know.
think about like what I'm gonna scrape in the trash can after we're done this, dude.
Oh damn! The wifey
What
did not
what
cook.
Nah, it's not even that, bro. It's just there's no food in this house right now.
Oh no.
But all right. So what was what are we finishing out this podcast? Like what is
So we're settling on, this is why we game, right?
This is why we
Yeah.
game, man. This is
Woo!
why we game.
All right, good, because I already have a logo in mind. All right.
Okay. Okay, man. This
Okay,
guy had it already.
He's
So
ready
he
for it.
he baited us
He was
into
gambling.
it. Dude. This guy.
He's
I
gambling on
mean,
seeing it.
yeah,
Dude,
I
a
sort
beta,
of
dude.
did. I mean, it's sort of like how I kind of baited you guys into liking the All-for-One logo. I thought you guys were gonna hate it.
Nah,
No,
bro.
no.
Everyone loves it, dude. I love it. I mean, I have it on the back of my phone, man. Like
He does, yeah.
I forgot you got that.
You should have seen it at like invite weekend. Was the first thing that we
Oh, that's
noticed. At
right,
least I
yeah.
noticed
Oh, that's
immediately.
right. I forgot. Yeah, I forgot he had it then. Oh, it's funny because like I just bought like a brand new set of you guys know the game Cornhole.
Uh-huh.
Sounds
Yeah.
familiar.
Yeah.
It's like the wooden
It's the
boards.
beanbag toss.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
It's very
So like
American
we just got
game.
a brand new set, and like we're gonna paint them like a matte black, and we're gonna put like Raiders vinyl stickers on there because we're Raiders fans. But like underneath, I was gonna put a bit without my parents knowing. I was gonna put a big All-for-One sticker underneath, just to see if I
That's
can get
funny.
away with it. We'll see. But all right. So the other thing was, how did we all meet? Like, how did all four of us,
Oof.
Oh
come
man.
to be? And
Should we
All-for-One?
start from like the beginning, like the first people that met, and then go up in that, and then like,
Yeah,
do you
but
think that'd
yeah,
be
let's
like
try to
if we
keep
do
it
like a timeline, like so that we do it quick, like a timeline, like real quick. Like so, who's the first people I met here? I'm pretty sure it's you and Facebook, right? That's like the first people before anyone else met.
Yeah. So
yeah.
What
I
year?
think like out of all four of us, I think I linked everyone. I think I linked Shaz to me, and then
And then I
Well,
linked to, and then I linked to Blade, and then you and me linked
yeah,
up, and then
yeah.
that's okay. So yeah, I mean, like, how you guys meet?
So-
Like, where? Like, let's
so-
let's keep it short though. So to keep it short, so we get this podcast like not going to over 2
yeah.
hours. We're gonna do where we met, so where we met, how we met, and just something funny about it if there's something funny or like a fun fact, and then we keep moving on.
Okay.
Or what
So-
about? Sorry, real quick. What about like we throw in funniest moment we had with that person, if it was
Oh god.
in game or IRL? I already know what I'm gonna say for you, Luis.
Okay,
Oh,
okay,
no.
yeah. All right, let's get it.
Okay. So I met Shaz in a casual game
Yeah.
on Rainbow. And that was because I recognized Haste from one little YouTube video just because I was browsing through YouTube randomly one day. And that's how I met him and Haste. And then I met you, Goku, through War because War was like it was at that time where Tier 1 at the time was just disbanded just because Dirk, McFoles, and Ham, they're just like, yeah, we don't want to play comp anymore for whatever reason. And did it again while I was like away without me knowing. So I was like, okay. So then I told War about it. I was gonna be LFT for a little bit. And then he's just like, nah, come play for me instead. And Goku over here's just like, yeah, no tryout, you're just going in. I'm just like, oh, okay. That's how I met
Yeah.
Blade as well. Goku out here throwing me to the wolves, dude.
He's just like, yeah, you're good. Let's just go. Come on, we have like 2 maps scrim. Come on, bro. I can actually see Goku doing that. I'm not gonna lie.
I'll tell you about it. Go. So, Chaz, tell us a little bit about Facebook.
All right. So yeah, I met Luis through casual, and the only reason why I remember how we like further talked more, and even we're at this point where we are now is because we ended up playing ranked with them like from time to time whenever like me, Hayes, and a couple others felt like it, and then we formed Crescent Blade, and 2 of the people like we had in mind, one of them just disappeared completely. Like he like did not text us, and then he came back. It's Alfie, actually, the current guy who might be a sub for us. He disappeared. He was one of our starters, just disappeared. And we filled in someone for his role, and then this other guy just disappeared randomly too. And I'm like, well, we need a good fifth, and I'm like, we need a support player. I'm like, I remember seeing how good Facebook was with Thermite, and I'm like, well, we need a support and like someone that can also be like a good fragger. So I told Haste like, just ask Luis, and then he did, and Luis was just like, yeah, sure, why not? Because at that time, Luis's team at that time had just like disbanded, or you guys.
It wasn't even a team,
stopped.
dude. It wasn't
even-
even.
That was the beginnings of everything.
Yeah, it wasn't even a team.
Yeah, and then I remember funniest moment I had with Luis though was because he at the time he was living in Flagstaff, and I didn't know till Hayes told me, and I remember I let Luis stayed at my house. We didn't even know each other in person or anything. I just like yeah, he just stay with me. We went hung out on Mill Ave for our friend Hayes' birthday, his 21st birthday. Had some drinks and all that stuff. And then when I went up to Flagstaff, like a couple months later,
Oh no.
we were at a club, and this random girl with the chicken sock puppet came up to Louise. She had two of them. She gave him one, and she was like, "Oh, what am I doing?" And she's like, "Here, dance around the pole with the sock puppet." And like, I just go up to Lisa. I'm like, "What's going on here?" He's like, "I don't know." She just gave me a chicken sock puppet, and they're just our hands are just dancing around the pole right now. And like it was just the funniest moment because I went to go use the or no, I went to go get our friend a
An
Uber
Uber.
because he was so because it was Hayes. He was so drunk after like 2 beers or something like that. He just he needed to
Sounds
go
like
back to the
Blade.
hotel.
Uh.
It
So
was bad. It
like
was
it
bad.
was just like it was like the funniest moment. And instantly he was like, okay, let's just go back to
Let's
I
go
think
back to the
yeah
Collins. Let's
yeah
call it.
it was just oh that was
That's
like the
funny.
funniest moment ever. Okay,
It was a
but
rave.
Uh-huh.
yeah, and then like I think it was like a year later or something. That's when I met you, Goku, and Blade
Uh-huh.
as well. I remember I was scared as
Yeah,
hell
what's
to
up?
talk to both of you. Like I don't know, I was just frightened.
For
I'm a
what
very shy
reason?
guy, and
Oh
like
yeah.
it's not until like I talked to you guys for a while that's when I got, you know,
Yeah,
I felt like yeah I could talk to them just fine now. So
that's funny. That's funny, dude. Well, I mean, me, I think the first person I met here was Blade. Uh yeah, I mean, and in this podcast, right? Not like here in like the org, but like in a podcast was Blade, and it was kind of funny because I mean, a lot of people ended up on this roster because of the same reason. It was just like someone was missing. We needed someone. Blade subbed in. He had never done comp before, but you know he's like a plat player. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, you know, come play, and he did. He subbed in, and I was like, yo, this is crazy. Actually, the guy that brought him in, Blade took his spot, and which is
okay.
funny. So like after like that guy built I think the biggest hate towards me and the whole team, like even till this day, I'm pretty sure. And so it was pretty crazy. But yeah, Blade since then has been in this team. I think it's what, over 2 years?
For
Like
2 years
that.
now, I think.
Yeah, over 2 years. I mean he was on and off, like he was on and off only once, but it wasn't really like, I don't know, even count. It was so little. And so it was like it's crazy. He's been here for this long, and then obviously Facebook came in as well into the team because we needed someone again. We weren't too sure about what we had as a roster, and Facebook came in, and he like subbed in or something, and I was like, yeah, no, I was like, you're good, and I told Blade the same thing. I said like, no, you're playing, you're on the team. Like I was like, yo, I'll see you the next day or whatever. And so I did the same thing with Facebook. Like they had no choice; they kind of just had to show up. And they never gave them a choice; like they just had to come. So like they just did, and it's funny because like I think Facebook was a year, like about 7 months later or 6 months later or something like that.
It was a
Uh,
good while later.
it was 6 7 months, dude. I mean, because I remember like what me and Blake like went through, like so it was some harsh times. So like after when that happened, I think I met Facebook, and then I met you, literally very short after. And yeah, and like what the way I met you was because like Facebook wouldn't stop talking about you and like I guess your talent in designing and graphics, and it just got me very interested in working with you and stuff. But we didn't really get to talk too much then compared to like when I started off for one,
Yeah.
um but I think like the funny, man, it's hard, man. Funny moments are hard. But I mean the funniest moment, I'm gonna save one. I'm gonna save one for a podcast when we can actually show people videos on the podcast.
Oh no.
But
Uh,
but like I'm gonna
Um,
save one. But like the funniest moment I think I have experienced with Blade and Facebook in the presence, like IRL, right? Because we met actually a couple 2 months ago, about right before the whole Corona thing. Was that uh Blade was at the bar and he was like, yo man, this guy was gone. Like he was gone. It just kind of hit him all of a sudden. He was gone, and he was dancing. This man was dancing. And so, like, if you guys don't know Blade, like, he's the last person you would think that would be dancing and like taking shots and what, and you know what I'm saying? Like, and this guy was some girl just came up to him and was like, yo, drink this or whatever. And so he just chugged it,
Oh
you
my God, he
know.
just slammed
And then after
Oh
he
my
slammed it, he started just going, or like shimmying, like is it how you say it? Shimmying it, like, yeah, just shimmying it like in circle. And like you know what I'm saying, like, and then he was like b-boying, like two stepping on, like, I don't know, it was wild. That
Oh
I think
my
that was the
God.
funniest
I need to
experience
see
I've
this.
had with them, and I do have a video of that too, which I'll show with the other story. I'll give you guys later of the actual funniest moment
Oh my God.
ever later. But yeah, I mean, yeah, that's for me, dude. I don't know. I mean, Blade, if he has anything he wants to fill up on all of that.
All I gotta say is, well, I have a couple things to say. I just hope that my family never sees this fucking podcast.
If they do, that means we're famous, dude. It's like, you know what
fuck,
I'm saying?
bro.
I mean, at that point, it wouldn't even matter. At that point, you would be making bank if they find out somehow.
Yeah, I do remember the first time meeting you, Goku. I was just like not a comp player, obviously, and I never touched like even ranked that much. I was just like a casual player, didn't really play anything other than casual with friends. So then when I was given the opportunity, oh hey, can you sub in for this game for my team real quick? I was like, okay. And then I just remembered being put on Sophia on Oregon, and back in that was old Oregon, and I just had no idea what the hell I was doing, but I was having so much damn fun that I couldn't even like control myself.
Man, just getting control, killing the other team. He's like, I'm just killing them all, dude.
It was I think I was doing pretty good, and I was like, damn, so this is what comp is, but I don't think I understood the gravity of what the hell I was doing at all. Like I was just having fun,
He
and
didn't understand the
that was
frustration yet.
yeah. That was kind of my mentality for like the next months. I didn't realize I got a spot on the team until Goku was like, "Yo, you're playing," and it felt like I was like a puppy, and this guy just put a helmet on and said, "All right, you're going to war, bro. This is what it's gonna be like."
That's right, bro. I mean, and you had a pretty good run too, because at that point, that little right after NWA, and you left like NWA because I had to go to Coach Timbers. You you actually got on, like, you weren't long into this team, but you had a pretty good run with this team. Like, you guys were pretty, like, it was pretty solid. I mean, at least I would think it was like a bit better than NWA actually. Maybe not better than this last All for One roster that we did ESA with, but definitely better than that NW roster. And you did a pretty good run. Which was pretty cool, 'cause to see you there, like, to see you that you got picked up, not for, like, you know what I'm saying, like, you got, with me, it was kind of like the luck of having that opportunity, like, that we needed one, and like you were just like there at the right time. It was like you actually looking for a good team, and you got picked up by a good team, and you did well, you know. So that's pretty cool to see that too.
And then Facebook came in. One of the same story as me, pretty much. That's where we all got along and met everybody else.
Pretty much. You guys are like mid strat discussing too when War like brought me in. It was weird. Like I came in like at the back end of everything. And it was like all logistical stuff.
Yeah,
It was weird.
it's kind of wild, dude.
I always just remember you talking about your old team over and over again. And then
Yeah,
when we
yeah,
get
and
faced
baited
them, we
us.
get fucking shredded.
We got baited by, yeah, we got baited. That's gonna be
I didn't
another
bait you, but I told you guys
conversation
what
of
they were
baits.
gonna do. I told you guys what they're gonna do.
Facebook was throwing and baiting at the same time. I don't know
Yeah,
how
I'm
that's
making this
possible.
band the right things. I don't know. Yeah, throwing and baiting
Oh
at the
my
same
God.
time. It just takes a certain amount of skill, dude. Because then when we face that same, I mean, those same, maybe it wasn't the same roster, but it was the same brain behind it all.
The same, yeah, the same three people.
And when we played it without Facebook, because Facebook wasn't there for some of those games, we actually beat them, and then that's where we clarified that indeed Facebook was fucking joined, and then like we out here winning, and then Facebook joins, and we still won, but it was a tighter game. So I think Facebook can't throw as hard as he used to. I don't know.
Oh man.
All right, so what's up? We're wrapping it up. I think that's pretty good, right? What we get here?
Yeah,
That's good.
I think we're solid on time. Let me take a look. It looks like we're at we're at like an hour 25 minutes. Right
That's
now.
perfect, dude. Like, I mean, right now,
Oh man, what a first podcast.
I don't know. Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know about an outro really right now, but we'll figure one out. I guess like subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Like,
subscribe.
I mean, if it's on YouTube, like
Well, yeah,
subscribe.
for YouTube.
Yeah, we're
YouTube,
not
subscribe.
we're not on Spotify yet and all that, but like
But if I
YouTube
did manage to get this on Spotify and Apple Music, share it.
yeah,
Another-
share
You
it.
got a nice
Follow.
outro song.
Yeah,
Give
yeah.
us
Well, I
a
mean,
rate.
we
Give
have
us a rate
everything.
if we're
fine,
on
yeah,
Apple
yeah.
Music.
And then yeah, I mean, hopefully remember like this first podcast, it's just about to get better. But this is just to kind of get to know us and like where we're from and like kind of a little bit of a bio of all of us.
Yeah.
Those that have been here the longest. So
And in the coming weeks, we're gonna we'll come with the set schedule eventually, and it's gonna be a mix of people. Like maybe for the most part, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be the host for the podcast for the most
Yeah.
part. As far as excuse me, as far as like others go, I mean, maybe this week will be us four, maybe next week one or two of you might drop out, or maybe it'll just be me and a whole new group of others.
Yeah.
From All for One. It'll just be a mix of us.
Yeah, so
and
there's
it'll
definitely
be
gonna be new faces.
anything and everything.
Yeah, definitely
Yeah.
gonna be new faces. So it's never gonna be the same. So just keep an eye out for every new podcast that is posted, and to keep also because in the podcast we're gonna be announcing cool stuff that is gonna be coming out for us too. So that's the first place you would probably find it out. If we're
Yeah, I'll try to share our social media when I post the video on YouTube
So-
for this podcast. But
yeah.
other
So
than that,
that's it. That
I
we're calling
think
it.
this
Well,
is why we game.
Thank you guys for watching our episode of All for One because this is how we game, dude. Oof. A little bit of a cringe, but we good there.
It's all downhill from here.
It's all downhill from here, bro.
Wow,
It's all downhill from here, but you just turn you just gotta turn the camera over and then it looks uphill. So we good.
Thank you for listening.